Sorry if that's loud. It's the nuclear oven in the kitchen cooking some dinner. But I wanted to try an experiment, and the experiment is basically I'm gonna throw some obstacles at you, and you're going to try to hurdle them. The obstacles are going to be a description of reality, and you, by jumping them, will either understand and agree or trip and fall over. And in the event that you trip and fall over, you're going to be agitated and you're going to respond to this video in pain. I will have caused you great suffering. On the other hand, if you do understand me and you do hurdle, then we'll continue the conversation. So here's the experiment. I am a body. Not just any body. I am this body. Okay, now, but what is my body really? Where does my body end and the world around me begin? Where do organism and environment separate? You know, we think about that for a second. Well, you know, we're constantly breathing air. You know, just air, just dead molecules floating around, banging into each other. Sometimes it smells good. Sometimes it just doesn't smell at all, and sometimes it reeks. But it's just dead. You know, we eat matter. We have to consume food. Not just any matter, but it had to have been living at one point. We can't just eat dirt. We can only eat plant or animal matter, which somehow is different than dirt, than inorganic matter. How is it different? Well, it's composed of the same fundamental components at one level, at the level of protons, neutrons, and electrons, but at another level, at the level of our actual experience of them, they're living beings that require certain responses from us as living beings. They, in fact, penetrate us. Because the thing about bodies is they always exist in relationship to other bodies. There's no body by itself. A body is a complex fold in space-time. Space-time is the sensorium of God. Newton actually put it that way, and I think he may have been onto something. Space-time is the receptacle which allows communication between each of the located bodies within the receptacle, and so somehow, while there is autonomy and separation and distinctness because of space and time, there's also continuity. Somehow, space transmits a message fully, and space and time, they allow us to know reality, but the thing is, you know, that's not immediately obvious, because we usually think of sense perception as somewhat distorted, because, you know, light, for one thing, takes a certain amount of time to reflect off the objects in the environment, and but for that reflection, we don't know an object. So what we see is not only a reflection of an object, but a reflection of an object in the past. And this isn't even considering the amount of time it takes our organism, our rods and cones, and our optic nerve, and our visual cortex to organize or compute, if you must, this information. So we directly experience through our senses, our exterior senses, the past. But somehow, we're able to experience a present. It's not really something separate from the past, which is the initiation of our being at all is determined by the past. I mean, we exist because there is an actual past. That's what's gotten us here. It's what's given. But we seem to continue. We're not in the past. We're in a present. It somehow includes the past. And being in this present, the world makes sense to us as bodies. That's what bodies do. They make sense of a world. They experience, in other words, they experience and relate to other bodies. That's what senses are for. So, the whole thing is alive. Bodies are alive. They sense each other. So all of our thoughts and our ideas, we call them private usually, but actually that is the world feeling itself. Matter, space, time, gravity are all abstractions that we've derived from our felt experience being a body in a world. And so really there is only our body, but when I put it that way, I'm not just talking about this body, I'm also talking about the planet Earth and the solar system and the galaxy and the supercluster. These are bodies of different kinds, of different levels of organization and degrees of complexity, but still bodies. Dynamic processes that organize themselves. Doesn't mean that there's a self separate from the organization. No, it organizes by itself. So you could say, yeah, well, then it's just a pattern, right? Yeah, it's a sensing pattern. It is one thing. So the whole universe is a body, the body that we are. Is, when I say I am a body, I mean I am this body. But what is this body? This body, whatever I experience as the unity of this body, is the same body you experience as the unity of that body, your body. And any felt experience of being a body is necessarily a shared experience of being a body. It's a shared experience of being the body as a body, really. So we are an individual, just as the cells of my body are individual. But we respond to the world together because we sense each other, and when bodies sense each other, there tends to be organized response to some experience that they share, such that they can form, a human animal with 200 and some odd different kinds of cells, constantly performing self-maintenance and communicating in all these different chemical, electrical ways. It's a vast society of organisms living as we. It's quite bizarre. Quite bizarre.